The subject of this video is somebody that you probably haven't ever heard of. I certainly hadn't until one viewer of some of these videos suggested that I take a look at Richard J. Meadows. Meadows was ended up as a major in the Army. He had a 30-year career. And I'll tell you what, I really appreciate the suggestion from that viewer. He suggested that I read a book called The Quiet Professional. It's by a man named Alan Hoe, H-O-E, and I thoroughly recommend it. It's quite a thorough treatment of this man, Richard Meadows' life. In brief, here's what happened. He enlisted in the Army at the age of 15. A year or two after World War II. He served in Korea, he served in Vietnam. In Vietnam, he got a direct commission to captain, and he had what I guess is a sort of extended military career where they rotate in and out of training assignments and actual combat type deployments. He was instrumental in the formation of Delta Force. So it works something like this. He started out airborne. He was a paratrooper. He ended up in the Special Forces. He spent time in the Special Forces, were very active during the Vietnam War. And then subsequently, he helped organize and develop the Delta Force. Now, there's a lot of detail in here. He had a lot of adventures. The big one, I think, was this raid on the Son Tay prison compound in North Vietnam. I'll tell you what, the book is great. The man's life is extraordinary. And he was really very dedicated. Now, I've got to be frank to say that my experience with the military, my personal experience, is quite limited. I was drafted in 1968, and I was out of the Army by the end of 1969. So I didn't see four-star generals, and hardly ever saw field-grade officers, you know, like battalion commanders and things like that. The guys I spent most of my time with were company level, platoon level, NCOs and officers. So very limited. But I've read a lot of military history, and the thing that strikes me is the Army is like any other human institution. You've got people on both ends of the spectrum in terms of dedication, professionalism, all the way down to guys who really could care less. And I think that applies in all ranks. You've got these over-decorated, highly political generals and admirals running things, and they're doing that alongside very competent, very committed professionals. At the other end, down where I was, you had people who, you know, in 1968, a guy would get caught stealing a car, and the judge would say, you're either going to jail or you're going in the Army. They didn't make particularly great soldiers, but at the same time, you had plenty of guys in the Army who were committed, who were as professional as they could be. And this is where this Officer Meadows fits in. I feel a certain affinity to him because he spent a lot of his career as an enlisted man. He was only commissioned in 1967, but it looked to me like he was meticulous. He paid attention to everything. He was very careful with the lives of the men that he served with, and really a totally admirable person. Got no publicity. Certainly was recognized for his achievements in his career after he died, but very admirable in my mind. Very admirable man, and what a career. I will join this viewer and recommend that you read The Quiet Professional. It's a very thorough look at this guy. And I think it'll really reward the time that you devote to watching it. So anyway, thank you very much. And here's another really great American soldier, Richard J. Meadows.